The world has completely turned upside down under our pathetic excuse for a president who doesn't know what day of the week it is. None other than America's hostile enemies now. They have no fear or respect for Joe Biden. Not China, not Iran, and definitely not Russia. Now, Putin's thugs, as we talked about last night, they took down a U.S. Reaper drone over international waters, which in most cases, most presidents would view as an act of war. There would be some military response. What did Biden do in response? Pretty much nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. The White House started to make excuses for Putin's risky behavior. They called it an accident. Really? Anyone here believe it's an accident? No. Now, it probably was, they said it's probably unintentional. They said it probably was a result of a profound incompetence of these Russian pilots. Does anybody here believe that there are incompetent fighter jet pilots that not once but twice dumped jet fuel on top of our drone and then took it out of the sky? I don't believe that. Anyway, the Biden administration, they are lying to you, the American people, and Putin's pilots, as I said, dumped multiple times fuel on the drone, and they ran the propeller. By accident, we're supposed to believe? I don't think so. Odds are 99.9% that Vladimir himself ordered this to happen. In fact, breaking tonight, even from fake news NBC, quote, Russian leadership approved aggressive actions of jets that damaged the U.S. drone. Obviously, Biden's administration, their first instinct is to what? To always lie. Oh, the border's not secure because of Donald Trump. Just the opposite. Now, get this. Russia is now attempting to retrieve our drone from the Black Sea that they took out of the sky before our Navy can get to it. Where is the pushback? Joe, where are you? You're the commander-in-chief. Where is American leadership? Why are you going to take this? Not a single word from our part-time president, well, frankly, the cowardly Joe Biden. Now, back here at home, more insanity. This week's middle-class taxpayers, well, you're all forced to bail out some of the richest people in the world. I call it Biden's billionaire bank bailout. Tech CEOs, people that have vineyards that are very rich out in Napa, California. California's fanciful governor, Gavin Newsom, he has 3 vineyards. Other millionaires and billionaires from Northern California were made whole by the Biden administration after what is the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank. Now, SVB was California's woke, trendy bank. So naturally, instead of safeguarding every penny deposited, SVB diverted a massive amount of money to left-wing causes. Now, get this. This is what we have discovered. That includes a whopping $73 million to BLM-related groups, $5 billion in commitments to climate change. And internally, the bank's obsession with diversity and equity and inclusion, that took precedence over risk management. As a matter of fact, on their board, there was one person that had any real experience in banking. Now, SVB was set up as a safe space for its employees. They hosted a month-long celebration and implemented racial quotas. SVB had absolutely no chief risk officer for a whopping 8 months as the bank was in the process of imploding. Get woke, go broke is not just a slogan. When you trade logic and merit for radical Marxism, victimhood, everybody loses, except, of course, the billionaires that Joe Biden has bailed out here. Does anyone in this audience think these billionaires deserve a bailout? No. Wait, everybody knows the FDIC protects up to what? $250,000. So if you have more than $250,000, why should the taxpayers of this country have to bail you out? And then why are we lied to by Joe Biden, who said, oh, the taxpayers aren't going to pay? No, but we're just going to increase bank fees. Well, most Americans have a bank account, and they're going to end up paying this big, massive bill to billionaires. Now, we see this all over California, similar to every, frankly, socialist hellhole around the world. You have wealthy, well-connected Californians. Well, they have great lives. They're not impacted by the high cost of living. They're not impacted by Biden inflation. They're not impacted by no bail laws, defund and dismantle the police. They live in their walled mansions with armed guards. They have plenty of money banked away and deep connections inside of their government to protect that money. So they don't really care about high taxes or expensive social programs. It doesn't affect them. But the middle class in this country, hardworking Americans that get up every day, work hard, play by the rules, pay their taxes, raise their kids, obey the laws, and small business owners, you are bearing the brunt of this burden. And now the wokest city in California, San Francisco, they're now reaching the peak of insanity, and city leaders there are now seriously considering a plan to pay each and every African-American resident $5 million apiece for reparations. Now, this plan could cost nearly $1 trillion in money that San Francisco doesn't have. In fact, the entire state of California is going broke. Less than 2 years after Biden's blue state bailout, Newsom is already in a hole again. This time, California's budget deficit is at a whopping $24 billion. So is Joe Biden going to bail them out once again? Probably with your money. Now, in the new Democratic Party, the Socialist Party, the Marxist Party, well, you can drive your state into the ground. You can release violent criminals onto the streets. You can vilify police and first responders, but just don't use the wrong pronoun or the wrong word, or you're going to be labeled a racist and sexist and worse. Now, no one is safe from the left's word police, not even our friend Whoopi Goldberg over at The View, that hard-hitting news show. Take a look.
Who still believe that he got, gypped somehow in the election will still believe that he cared enough about his wife to pay that was gas. When you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't. And I should have said cheated, and I used another word, and I'm really, really sorry.
All right, I've known Whoopi for years. Whoopi, stop apologizing. Yeah! Are you tired of apologizing? I'm not really sure how anyone on the left can even navigate the complicated, ever-changing maze of victimhood and wrong words that we can no longer use. I don't think she had a negative intention when she used the word that was so offensive to people. As I said at the top, we're living in an upside-down world. Everybody should be concerned. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.